I continue to suffer, stumbling around in stories of discontent until I catch myself and stop and allow myself to know and deeply feel that I am frightened or confused or disappointed or angry or tired or ashamed or sad, that I'm in pain. Then my own good heart, out of compassion, takes care of me. It all happens when I am able to say to myself, I honestly do use these very words, "Sweetheart, you are in pain. Relax. Take a breath. Let's pay attention to what is happening. Then we'll figure out what to do." In those rescue phrases, there are 3 instructions. The first is relax. This is a startling instruction. Relax? Are you kidding? I'm upset. To give to a mind held captive by confusing and dismaying stories. It's the startle, though, that matters. It interrupts the stories. It isn't the instruction for how to calm down, but it is the reminder that calming down is possible. It inspires the next instruction, which is breathe. We are always breathing, of course, but this instruction means pay attention to your breath. Put all of your awareness into this next breath, the next few breaths. Attending particularly to the breath accomplishes 2 things. First of all, because the breath becomes shallow and the body becomes tense when the mind is disturbed, lengthening the breath calms the body. Second, and more important, it causes the mind, for the space of time it's attending to breath, to noticing it in descriptive terms, to drop the storyline of discontent. We can multitask, but we can't advance 2 storylines at the same time. The narrative accompaniment to attentive breathing, I'm breathing in a long breath, or I am breathing in a shallow breath, or I am breathing in a whatever kind of breath, is a straightforward description of a current reality, and its neutrality calms the mind. It replaces the alarming, non-neutral, woe is me narrative of the mind in contention with experience. Concentrating the attention on one neutral focus, such as the breath, calms the mind and begins to clear it of confusing energies. Even a small moment of clarity reminds the mind it could possibly choose a helpful response. That awareness provides hope and courage. Saying take a breath is a generic shortcut. Any neutral focus would work. A substitute for breath, a blessing phrase repeated aloud or spoken silently, also calms the mind, and since I use them a lot, they will be part of this book. Calming the mind prepares it for the last instruction, pay attention to what's happening. Pay attention, in other words, to the presence of distress, and if it is obvious, to what prompted it. I am mad because he said, or I am terribly ashamed because I just remembered, or I am overwhelmed by the pain of the world, or my best friend just met the love of his life and I am jealous, or my best friend is dying and I'm afraid I won't have heart enough to support her. The most important instruction always is pay attention to the feeling of distress. Sometimes the proximal cause is obvious, sometimes not. It doesn't matter. Pain is pain. Knowing the story of distress is helpful for choosing a response, but my first response, in addition to the recognition of the pain, is to not be mad at it, or at myself for falling into it. That's why it's important that I say, sweetheart. You might use another word if that one doesn't work for you, as long as it means that you aren't mad at yourself for whatever difficult feeling is present. Sweetheart reminds me that it isn't my fault that my mind is embittered, that something has upset it, that I'm in pain. Even if I see that the source of my suffering is my own mind's refusing to accommodate to its challenge, I can still feel compassionate about that. No one purposefully suffers. If I could peacefully accommodate, I would. This is a book about restoring the mind to its natural wisdom and kindness, to its capacity for caring connection, whenever confusion overwhelms it into suffering.